Everyone. All right. So June. So, yeah, I just don't like it. It probably pans out for me, anyways, how I trade and my statistics pans out maybe 20 to 30% of the time. So I just don't trade that day. I don't care. So starting off, we're gonna dive into what I was looking at here. Okay. I had some levels down here that I really obviously we're getting close to all-time high. If we look left, right, we have all-time high. There's gonna be some buy side liquidity up here, and I had some levels here. I want to kind of take you into what I was thinking. Okay, so let's zoom in over here. All right, now we had previous day high and low. Okay, and here we go. And you can see we took CPI data came out. And what I was watching is I want to show you there's some levels down here on the lower time frames, a 15-minute time frame that I'm looking at right here around the 7:30 area that I'm really looking at as a target. All right. And then if we could take that area, I mean, we do have a daily order block here, bullish order block. Then I'd expect price to basically come back into that order block and maybe go lower. But I'm not saying that I'm expecting price to go lower. And if you look here, let's see here. We have 1 second. Let me pull something up here. Basically, what I was looking at is we have this daily fair value gap, right? Oh, let me move that over. We have this daily fair value gap up here, and I've been waiting for price to reach that as well. Because remember, here's the thing, and I've given an analogy before. I don't really want to go through the whole analogy that I've given about, if you have barriers, right? I'll just give it simple. And prices between these two, either liquidity levels, imbalances, whatever. But keeping it simple, if you have two walls, right, and you bounce a ball, it's going to bounce from one side to the next. So I'm basically looking at these liquidity levels, liquidity areas, imbalances, stuff like that, kind of like you would like a wall, and eventually it's going to bust through one of them, right? So, and then when that happens, I'm going to look, well, where's the next area that it could go to? And if it returns back, I'm going to look and see, because I don't get too caught up into the long term, right? Because I'm taking one trade in the morning during one session, usually giving myself, an hour window that I'm looking for this trade. So it's like what happens over the course of multiple days doesn't matter too much, but I do want to be aware of everything, right? So basically, like I said, we had this fair value gap here for a long time, right here. And we finally closed out of it on Tuesday. So since we closed up, which I've been bullish for a while, we closed up, the next area that I'm looking at is right here in this daily fair value gap, right? And as soon as we finally trade through that, well, where's the next area? I have this swing right here, then I have up here, and then, all-time highs. So basically, that's how I look at this. And now that we, for example, hit here, if we trade back down, which you got to think of it this way, does price typically run into these higher time frames and just blow right through it? No, right? Like it just normally doesn't happen that way. Could it? Yeah, but normally it's not going to just blow right through it. So if it reaches in, especially the first time, I'm expecting it to come back down. Okay, and if it comes down, where am I expecting it to come down to? Well, I typically am not going to expect it to just stop in the middle of nowhere, right? Either there's going to be some type of imbalance, order block, something. So if it's coming down, I'd expect it, we have this order block here, to reach into this order block. And it just turns out on my lower time frame, right here is where I have a lot of sell side liquidity, and I'll show you that in a minute. So it's aligning, it's lining up, and then if you have this order block here, it's allowable to trade in it somewhere. Then I'd look if price can remain bullish to continue up at that point. However, if it doesn't, and let's say it chops and kind of like ping pongs around back in here and ends up continuing down, well, I'd be looking at this swing. And once it gets to that swing, now do we have a move up? Or if it takes this swing and now we have displacement down with a fair value gap, then I could look for it to either just run to this one or pull back to this one. And if it goes into this future fair value gap, if there's one, does it trade through it or does it hit that and continue down? So I'm always just looking, like, that's all I'm looking for. And I'm trying not to be too into the future with this, because in the past, what would happen to me sometimes is I find a bias and I'm like, oh man, we reached here. It's going to come all the way down. Like, it has to come down here. Anything's possible, right? Like, I keep that in the back of my head and I don't force it. Okay. So, or like if it does come into here, I'm not like, oh, we're definitely taking this swing or we're definitely going down to this fair value gap over here. Like, I can't do that. That's too far in the future for me. I have been looking at the weekly power of 3 lately and seeing how that works, trying to really get that to line up. I'm not going to go into that one right now, but so basically from here, and let me show you something. Let me mark off this order block too. The body here on the daily. So this is basically what I'm looking at. Okay. And so I saw we swept this high. We were above this previous day high. So, okay. So I note that. Let me drop down on the 4 hour. And basically on this 4 hour, what I'm looking at is, and this is 9:30, right? So I have the bar replay on. And let's see. Here, let me make sure it's still correct. Oh, you know what? I believe I accidentally. Here, let me get back to this area here right quick and select the bar. 9:15, 9:30. There we go. I must have accidentally clicked the button to take it all the way out in the future. So anyways, so here we are. So I go down to the 4 hour from that daily and I'm looking, okay. Yep, we took this high. We ran right up with CPI right to the middle of that fair value gap, that daily. So now I'm looking here. Is there any fair value gaps below the market price at this point? Is there any daily fair value gaps? Well, I do know, I have a swing here, stuff like that. We took these highs, but I'm looking for a fair value gap. The only thing I see is this one right here. There's a 4 hour fair value gap right there. And oh, sorry. This is the one I was trying to note right here. 4 hour fair value gap. We already hit it right there, and then we came up, right? No other fair value gaps. But look where it is. Oh, it's in the upper half of this order block that I marked, right? Here's the high. Here's the middle point of it. So, okay, that actually aligns with if it comes down, reaching into there. Now let's drop down to the 1 hour. This is basically all I'm looking at on these higher time frames. Same thing. 1 hour took this high. Is there any fair value gap? Okay. Well, there is one right here. So let me mark that. Because remember, my trades, I look for low-hanging fruit. I don't need to take 200-point runs, right? I'm just looking for my low-hanging fruit trades. So we ran up. We do have this one. We traded into a little bit. So, okay. Well, anything else? That area I'm looking at of liquidity is down here right above this 4 hour fair value gap. And I'll get to that in just a second. So now I'm like, okay, cool. We have, these lows. There's no other fair value. We have this one. And then over here, it's like, we have maybe like this little one. Nothing, nothing I need to really worry about if price did come down, except for this 1 hour fair value gap. So since we have this 1 hour one, if price comes down, do I expect price to just run right through it, just like I showed on that daily chart? No. So I'd expect price could come down, hit it, bounce up somewhere, and then later come down, right? And eventually make its way down here where I think it's going to go. And until we get here, I'm going to have that as a target. I looked at this yesterday and was like, oh, I like that area. If we don't hit this area, that's where I'm shooting for tomorrow, which is today. So then what I'm thinking, okay, if I get a trade somewhere in this area, right, to go short, well, for a target, I have to target here because, like I said, I don't expect price to go and just run straight through it. So I'm going to target right here, this 1 hour fair value gap. And now let's say I don't get a trade there, and then later, and then it comes down, does pull back, whatever. And then it trades through this 1 hour fair value gap. Or let's say it does just trade right through it. Okay, now let's say I get a short here. Now what am I going to target? Now I can target lower areas because there's nothing else. Like, yeah, we have this one. I'll probably watch the midpoint of this wick, but there's really nothing else. Now, do I need to make 200 points, like I said? No. So I would look really for a target on the 5 minute or 1 minute at that point, or probably, target these lows somewhere. That's what I would do. So that's what I'm immediately thinking in my head, looking at this 1 hour chart. Now let's go down to the 15 minute. All right, and here we go. I have all my sessions marked. Now let me show you why real quick I liked that level, okay? Here, if we go back, we have, look at this over here. We have this area of smoothness, London low, never got touched, okay? Price ran up, and then up here, like it kept taking nice liquidity levels on the buy side. And even up here, we had this nice little smoothness up here, buy side liquidity. So now at this point, if you look at this chart right here, and you see this high, and you see this low, and then you see this right here, sell side, and then you see this right here, buy side. It makes its way up, and then look what happens after it made this high and this low. If we just go ahead and throw a fib here, boom, boom, and we want to see where equilibrium is. Do y'all see that? Do you see that? After it created this buy side liquidity, engineered this sell side liquidity, made its run up here, look where it went. This is 50% right here, this purple line. Look where the body's closed. Pulled right back here, wicked down a little bit, and then it made this massive buy stop run right there, okay? Right here, we had relative equal lows. I liked that area. After that buy run, dropped down, got close to here. More relative equal lows, pull back up, and then dropped. Look at this low and this low. Literally are the exact same price. So this rundown right here took all this liquidity right there that I'm mentioning. Now, if you look at this low right here, right up here, the L, that low is 7. Oh, it's not moving. What's going on? Okay, there we go. 732. Now look at this low right here. 732. Exact to the tick lows. Okay, not even relatively equal lows. Exact lows. And then this turned out to be previous day low as well. So That's telling me, hey, we got something going on here. I liked that. And then Tuesday, I was watching and I said, all right, Tuesday, let's see if that gets taken out or if it's going to be left as a sell side liquidity being engineered for CPI day. Got so close, but look, didn't take it. And this was pure manipulation. Everybody going long, putting stops here, stops here, stops here, stops here. This just got wiped all that out. Okay. And then even to the short side, like people were going short anywhere. I mean, look at these wicks, manipulation, taking people out. So I'm sure a lot of people had a lot of damage done yesterday. And then that's why going into today, I looked, we still have this level here. No problem. That's actually what I'm looking for. But we, opened up and we had CPI and we ran up. We're nowhere near that level now. And we left this London low right here. So for the day this morning, I'm like, okay, we have nice liquidity here. We have this 1 hour fair value gap. And, we ran up and hit this midpoint of the daily fair value gap. I don't see price going up any further. I see it's coming down to this area and maybe lower. And if we don't reach this area, I'm going to remain short biased until we do. So then, because of that, I'm immediately looking for a short. So let's go to the 1 minute. And this is what the 1 minute chart looked like right before the open. So now let's analyze this real quick. So if we analyze this, we ran up, we made a higher high right here. We left a little fair value gap right here. Okay. Let's see. Let me go ahead and mark it. We left a little fair value gap right there. We left a little fair value gap right there. And we left a little fair value gap right there. Okay. So if you look at this made a higher high, dropped down. We took this low with a fair value gap right here, right? We came down, pulled up a little bit, took this low again, fair value gap, all the way down, came down, took these lows, fair value gap. So this market structure is already to the downside, the short side. So I'm expecting price to run at least here to this internal range liquidity. And in my opinion, if it reaches there, it's just going to hit this 1 hour fair value gap. And then from there, we might see it come up and take this internal range liquidity there before finally going down lower. That was my take on it. Okay. So then I'm looking pretty soon to get short in this thing. So if we go forward, we have our open, and look what it does. It opens and immediately creates this first presented fair value gap right here. And I'm like, yeah, I like that. We also had an opening range gap. Let's see. It was like the low of it was like right here. And we had this volume imbalance right here. But I'm like, yeah, we're going to get through this at least. And that's why I go for the low hanging fruit, because price very well could trade down. And even though I think it's going to go lower, we could see that retracement because it's the 1 minute chart, right? If I was going to go for a bigger trade, I'd have to go on a higher time frame. And then from there, keep going down. Like that's what I would expect to happen. So I liked this, but I was aware of this. So I wanted to be sure. I'm not going to short immediately if price comes back here. I want to make sure this kind of holds up here. And if it does, then I'll short targeting this 1 hour fair value gap. That's exactly what I did. So I hit that and I didn't enter immediately. Kind of pulled up and you see kind of overshot it a little bit, traded, closed, and then ultimately came down and hit the target. And that was my trade. And that's basically, so also I'm going to make another video here soon of me doing this framework, because my whole goal the last couple months is how to keep it very, very simple. The framework, the trade, the management, everything. I want to make it so simple to where I can I can, because I my kids want to learn how to trade, and trading we know can be complicated. You can overthink, you can do a lot, right? So I want it to be as mechanical as possible, if this then that type of thing, as much as I can. I know you can't really do that completely, but I want to make it where it's like, okay, here's a checklist, boom, 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 of the framework. I know I've had a couple videos before of how to do my framework, or how I frame it, basically, but I want it even simpler. Here's the framework. Here's what I'm looking for. When it presents itself, take it. When it does not present itself, don't trade, and kind of keep it that simple. Have a strict money management plan and all that. All right, so let's go into the video right quick. Here's the video of me taking the trade, and I'm going to press play, and I just want to show you how it was when it came back to that. See, we almost hit that fair value gap there, and I just want to show real quick, like we hit it there, and you can see I have my mouse over the sell button, but I wasn't ready to just hop in yet. And you can see here, we kind of started overshooting, and I was aware of this area right here. See, I'm already kind of showing it. So I wanted to be sure this is going to hold, and we are going to run that down there. Okay. So you can see it's overshooting, but it hasn't closed. We still have 20 seconds left. Then it closed. See the bar closed. We kind of can push down a little bit. Like, okay, cool. I'm okay with that. Have my stop right up here at these highs. My target right there at the high, the fair value gap. Well, I have it down here, and then I believe I move it up. Or no, I actually ended up. So I had it here at the 1 hour, and then I ended up saying, no, let me make sure and take the really low hanging fruit. And I moved it right here to the low of the opening range gap. Because I was like, if price can be bullish this week, there is a chance that it hits the last week's high and kind of comes up before running down. Because ultimately, that's what we don't know, right? Even if I have that level down there, it's Wednesday. Price could want to stay up the rest of this week, and then next week go to that level. Like, you don't know for sure. So I got to take what I can get. Okay, so here we are in the trade. So I ended up moving it up here, and I was gonna keep it there. I was like, you know what? Let me just go for the lowest hanging fruit right there. It was still like 50 points though. See, right here to the left. So let's fast forward a little bit. And I mean, I pretty much took very little heat on this thing. Let's see. Let's go back real quick. Yeah. See, it came up 33 ticks, 34 ticks against me. Was pretty much the most that I think I saw on that. And then, fast forward a little bit from there. I mean, it never came back up. I think it may have come up to break even at one point. Yeah, right here a little bit. One more touch that first presented fair value gap. Fast forward again. That's also why I hadn't moved to break even yet. Like, I want to give it the room, but I want it to run a certain, if I do move to break even, let it run a certain amount of distance first, at least halfway to my target or so, before moving to break even. Okay, fast forward a little bit. Just kind of getting hung up here a little. And then it moves pretty quick. So once we started getting close to these lows, I was like, yep, I'm going to move to break even. I'm at about halfway to my halfway point of my trade, almost. Not quite. But let's go ahead and protect myself here in case I'm wrong. Fast forward a little bit, and then you can see it's just breaking down. It hits this volume imbalance, kind of stopped there, and then I did move my stop back because, let's see, where did that? Oh, right here. Because I started looking, I was like, well, it's not quite to my half of my trade. So I moved it up, and then once it hit here, because I was like, okay, it might hit here and kind of bounce up. But then once I saw this fair value gap and everything, I'm like, yeah, we're close enough. Let me go ahead and move to break even. on that. So I did that. And then, of course, shot down, hit my target. And there we go. And naturally, it went all the way down and hit that 1 hour fair value gap pretty quickly, which that's okay. Just trying to flatten my trade there. There we go. Got it flat. And that's just a glitch from Rhythmic and NinjaTrader. But flattened 8,600. And that was that. That was it. So hope you got something out of this recap. And like I said, I do want to put out a better, like a really good framework video soon. Once I'm really, 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 really comfortable with it and confident like that's the way. So we'll see. But anyways, all right. I hope you had a great day. And thanks for watching this trade recap. I hope you got something out of it. And I'll see you next time. Take care and trade well.